Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Guys, that's for like so many people. So if this reading isn't for you, don't get offended. Just discard it. It's not yours. Remember that there is no gender. If I pull a king, queen, emperor, or an empress, I am not talking about anyone's gender or sex, although it may resonate. I'm going to describe a personality. That's what it means. And honestly, you'll know exactly who we're talking about. All the information for personals is in the description below. I also offer a membership. There I do members only readings, members only live chats, mental health information, tarot lessons, etc., etc., etc. Just a bunch of random stuff in there. You can check that out by going to the membership tab of the channel, or you can hit the join button below. If you're a reader and you want to do a live with me, hit me up. Guys, keep in mind, this is all readers. I don't care if you have 4 subscribers or 100,000. If you want to have fun and do a live with me, my information's in the description. Okay. So I'm pulling the Oracle to kind of lead the reading. We'll clarify everything with the Tarot, and we'll grab some advice. So we have contemplative stream. I am self-aware. I take time to sit by the contemplative stream to notice how I'm feeling. I respond to my needs with compassionate awareness. I witness my internal landscape without judgment. Wolf Pathfinder. Release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. And music. There is a melody to be heard in the deepest parts of the woods, if only we listen. The overall energy is Temperance, Sagittarius energy. I have the Two of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck, the Devil. This is in the challenge position, Capricornian energy. So this is very self-oriented. I think that here there is an awareness to one's own toxicity, right? Like we're looking at our own shadow here and how to fix it. Not an easy thing to do, though. It's not, just even being this self-aware is not easy. It's painful. I think that you're coming out of this path where maybe you've placed blame on others. Not that they're not responsible for their part in it, but you can't blame somebody else for everything. I think that here we're kind of looking into some of the childhood experiences that we had here and how they're showing up in our adult relationships. All relationships, not just romantic. Although I feel like here, romantic relationships have made this mostly known to you. Like, bringing it to your awareness, right? What I do like here, though, is that somebody's not trying to hide this shadow or act like it doesn't exist. Most people's healing is them attempting to either completely deplete the shadow, not possible, or act like it doesn't exist. Shout out to the love and light bitches. Sorry, that was personal. I think here this is more really sitting with one's emotions when you're feeling them and trying to understand them from a deeper level. What is this response from? You may also be kind of taking in a lot of information, not just like tarot, although this is great for that journey. I think maybe reading a lot of information, watching a lot of mental health gurus, maybe taking in actual mental health information to try to find peace. I think that somebody here is actually tired of the struggle. They realize where things are going wrong on their own end, and they are aware that the best way, I think, to handle this shadow is to understand it. And that's where most people, They don't take that time, you know. They just be like, oh, I'm not a bad person. It's just this and this and this happened to me, and that's why I am the way I am. Well, now you're just a self-aware asshole because you're not doing anything about it, right? That's not what I have here. I have somebody who's really like invested in their healing by understanding oneself fully. I also think that there's like some major changes here where maybe in the past you wouldn't be able to take in information that would make you accountable. You know, I think that you would just have this really weird response to that. You know, you would push it away or act like, you know, that information was false. Something like that, you know, where now there's this like maturity to it where sometimes when people are speaking to me, usually whatever hurts my feelings when they're saying it is a truth I need to look at, because things that don't resonate just don't hurt, you know? So I see a lot of like growth here, mentally and emotionally. I think that there's somebody looking at themselves here, and they're kind of saying, you know, I need to really be more mindful, right? Because this is like reflected energy, right? That people will absolutely return energy. And how am I showing up? Am I showing up emotionally the way I'm supposed to? Am I talking to people the way I'm supposed to? Am I listening the way that I'm supposed to? Are these things standing in the way? Is this my toxicity? And it's true. I mean, a lot of people are out here just listening. You know, they have like selective listening. They hear what they want to, you know, and skip the bad parts. And I don't think that I'm dealing with a Virgo who's doing that. I think that someone who's really deeply invested in becoming a better person. Advice. The Knight of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Queen of Swords over here at the bottom. I think this is just being really clear about, you know, boundaries and I think, again, communication and listening. So here's kind of the thing is that, like, I think that you may have, like, a triggered energy, you know? Like, maybe there's some trauma from the past, and it comes up in these meaningful relationships. What I mean by this is, like, I think that there are times where you're just not in control of your behavior. You could be really, like, triggered. Somebody says something, you're ready to just go off. So this could be part of the thing here where I was bringing this up before, where, like, someone's kind of changing that, like, the information that you take in that hurts resonates, right? So I feel like here it's kind of relieving some of the, I think, extreme worries or extreme situations from the past, you know, like, how do I want to put this in a way that makes sense? Instead of judging yourself, which I think is part of what you're doing here now, you know, there's different stages to these types of things. It's first kind of blaming everybody around us, you know, down to mommy and daddy. You know, and then there's a day where we wake up and say, okay, that may be true, but I'm actually in control of my life. I have to be in control of my behavior here. Some of you have extreme anxiety that you may actually need to talk to somebody professional about. I mean, actual anxiety, just like these really triggered emotions that you don't even understand. They pop up out of nowhere. You behave totally different than you normally would. And being able to really take in new information about that and try to receive some kind of help with it. I feel like somebody's at that in between where they've become aware that sometimes they're the problem, but again, they have a problem with placing blame. So it's kind of like it used to be someone else's fault, now it's all your fault. But actually, it's kind of a combination of the two. It's my fault because I allowed this, and it's my fault because I don't have boundaries with this. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't react like that, but not taking away these other things. And for some of you, you feel like you're going to be able to control a behavioral pattern or something by just controlling it, and it's not actually possible. Like for some of you, there really is some shit going on here that you don't understand, and the first step to peace is going to somebody who would understand it that can really help you. For others of you, it really, though, is just about taking in some new information instead of being hurt by it. It would be like if this reading pissed you off, it's probably likely that these are things you have to look into. If you are, I get this a lot. Let's just talk about with the channel, right? I remember one time, I like to build rapport and then drop things on people, just like you would in psychology. So I dealt with a group of people, and we were going along with narcissistic personality disorder. A lot of people feel like they've dealt with a narcissist. A lot of people have dealt with a narcissist in relationships, but we go on all these personality traits, and it really kind of victimized the querent until I got to a point where we started talking about why someone would date a narcissist, you know what I mean? Or if you have narcissistic parents, it's guaranteed that you have narcissistic traits. Now, everybody was willing to believe that if they had narcissistic parents, they probably would date a narcissist. They were leaving out the part where they probably have narcissistic traits, because imitation and observation is 90% of your childhood. So if you have narcissistic parents, you are guaranteed to have narcissistic traits, period. You can ask a clinical psychologist about this. You don't have to take it from me. The number of people that were absolutely fucking livid that I had said this was only about 2 or 3. Everybody else was on board. Yes, no, I understand this. But if you're one of these people, you're not going to take the information and you're going to say, oh, that's wrong. I could never be. And then you remained an asshole forever, So it's like, somebody's kind of being called out here again, like making sure that you do it the right way is kind of important here. There could be some, like if you are in therapy and somebody starts talking to you about your triggers, your stuff, and you start getting angry, it's because they're hitting on something real here. So I think that here it's kind of like you need to pay attention to some anxious habits that you have. You need to pay attention to some trauma from the past. If it's not something you can work out yourself, you may need some help. Understand that doesn't mean that if you can't afford a therapist that you cannot get help. There are plenty of mental health videos and mental health professionals right here on YouTube. If you can take the time out to watch me, you can take the time out to watch them. In fact, I'm just talking about relationships here. They're going to give you solid, cold information that you might need, And again, the way I feel about things is if something hurts my feelings, it deeply resonates. So here I feel self-aware is not enough. You have to keep pushing past that into actual healing. And in order to do that, you're going to have to be able to take in some type of truths. And I think that, sorry, I was paying attention to this again. Release your past and start a new journey. So, paying attention to your own feelings and being mindful of it, and maybe being mindful of others around you as well. And really, to me, though, this is not as simple as somebody just talking about it. Somebody needs, like, the real information, like from a therapist or from some online professional, like, that really can speak on these things. Now, understand that YouTube can be a very biased world. If I want to be a little victim of narcissistic abuse, there are way, way more channels available to me with that, even with mental health professionals. There are highly biased therapists, like, I've watched a therapist who has literally spoken about borderline personality disorder. Like, these people are, cutesy wootsy, and all they need is a little encouragement, and they'll change their whole life. And as a person with borderline, I fucking promise you that is actually not me. While this person speaks about a narcissist like they're a piece of shit, and I can't really tell the difference between me and a narcissist, except that they can keep it together and I can't. That's it. That's the only difference. So, making sure that you're taking in information that isn't doing, stroking your ego and making you out to be a little victim, or, especially if you're not feeling like you are. If you're a victim, you're a victim. Watch those. That's fine, But to the people who really, really want to change, they really want things to be different in life, you're going to have to listen to the very unbiased information that's out there and not go into these, because I'm telling you right now, if I pop in narcissistic personality disorder, I'm going to have 951 life coaches that pop up, and they're in that same thing. They haven't actually healed or changed. They're just a victim, and they're victimizing me too. There is no advice, not good advice anyway. There is no real mental health information involved in it. It's just somebody's personal vendetta to make narcissists look bad so that they don't. Half the time the people with those channels actually, if I were to diagnose them, they have narcissistic personality disorder. They're not able to see anyone outside of themselves or be mindful of the others around them. So just be careful with it, and I think a lot of you just need to really take in new information that isn't biased and isn't a meme from Facebook, if you want the change. Anybody else, just disregard this reading. You can go back to your regular life. Okay, bye.